Hello, I'm Amon Thomas, the GQ Driver. I'd like to welcome you to my new YouTube channel, the GQ Driver, and also my website, thegqdriver.com. On today's segment, we'll be going over how to keep a high rating on driving on Uber and other platforms that you use for your business. I've been driving now for about 2 years, over 5,000 rides, and I have an overall rating of a 4.96. I started off this week with a 4.96, and on Tuesday it increased to a 4.97. And this weekend it's back down to a 4.96. So don't worry about the rating, it will change, but we're going to go over some secrets and tips on how to increase your ratings, and also, more importantly, what does this mean for you? How to increase your income from a daily or weekly basis. When the rider is in the vehicle or coming to the vehicle, I like to greet the rider with their names. A lot of riders that come into my area are from other countries, and so I practice their names before they get into the vehicle. Sometimes they're impressed on how well I pronounce their names, so that goes a long way. And also, it's great to keep a great attitude and try to assess the customer or the rider as they get into the vehicle, so you know how much to talk or how little you need to talk, because their attitude may suggest that they do not want to talk as much. One thing that I like to do is dress for success, and I'll go over something later in other segments on dressing for access. This is the way I dress every time I drive, and so I try to keep a business look every time I drive so that the customer, knows that I'm here for business and that I'm ready for success. Keeping a clean vehicle is so important. The weather in Chicago is very inclement. It may change, it may rain, snow, and so one trick or a couple of tricks that I like to use is keeping the inside of the vehicle as clean as possible at all times, and keeping the windows clean. If you keep the windows clean, the customer always see clean things as they're driving, as they're looking out into the scenery. I pick up a lot of riders from our airports that we have in the area. And a trick that I like to use, I have a blanket in the trunk, and I fold the blanket out so that it covers my bumper so that the luggage does not scrape the bumper. I see a lot of Uber drivers or a lot of Rideshare drivers allow the rider to lift and pick their luggage up and put it into their vehicles while they sit in the driver's seat. Just getting out, that shows that you care, that you're trying to help the customer. Sometimes that luggage is very heavy, and they can't pick that luggage up and put it into the vehicle. So that blanket that I have, it protects the bumper, and also it shows the customer that I'm taking care of them. Music choices are very important to the rider. Some riders prefer quiet, some riders prefer soft music, and that's what I tend to go with, is soft jazz. Another thing that you could use is the apps like Pandora, XM Radio, and using your aux cord is a personal way to allow the rider to be the DJ, and they can choose the music that they want. On Fridays, I have a lot of younger people that are going to someplace fun, and they are trying to get hype. They want their own music, and I turn it up loud for them. I personally don't drive with it that loud, but for them, I try to adjust to the customer as they ride with their music choices. If you have any type of amenities that you would like to offer your riders, that is key. I personally like to offer waters and also candies and mints. I never offer chocolates or gum. Anything that will stain or get on the seats, I would not allow. So anything that you can clean up easy with candies or mints, that is suggested. try to be as informative as possible. I got a lot of riders coming in from out of town, and they're coming to Chicago for the first time. So as we're coming from the airport to the downtown area, I like to point out different buildings, different places to see for low cost, and I give them a nickel and dime tour. On several occasions, as you're talking, I've gone around the city or going around the loop to show customers different sites, and this is an extra because we're going out of the way that they're normally supposed to be going. It adds extra time and extra mileage to the trip. So this is a bonus for you to do that sometime. Another thing that I like to do is, as the customer comes into the vehicle, not to compete with the customer. This is important. If you see the customer with headphones, talking on the phone, or they have some type of instrument or laptops that they're working with, that's an immediate sign that they really don't want to be bothered. So by looking at these things, you know and understand that you don't want to compete with them. If they have other friends and they're talking, you don't want to jump into their conversation. So if they're talking, don't speak unless being spoken to. That's my rule. And if they ask you direct questions, then that's when you talk, and you'll know how long to carry that conversation with the rider. Uber navigation is a key that I like to use, and sometimes the Uber navigation may not be as correct as it needs to be in the Chicago loop. So knowing your surroundings, knowing the loop, knowing the city will help you tremendously, and it will, of course, give you a positive rating with the customer. I've been driving for about 2 years and over 5,000 rides between the platforms that I drive. So with that, the customer can look at those ratings and they know that you've been driving a while, and they see how well you take care of other customers. You want to give that same courtesy to that rider. And most importantly about keeping a high rating is don't worry. Not to worry about the rating, because it's going to change. And also, a thing that I use with the rating system is I have a tip card. I have tip cards strategically placed within the vehicle so that every row can see a card. And on those cards it goes over about ratings, about tips, and these are silent sellers. So I'm allowing the card to sell. It's a personal way that I use on the card, and also it's informative. It's giving information about ratings, about tips, and it reminds them about it. And it's a way that I don't even talk about tips or ratings to a customer. I let it sell itself. And once again, I like to keep my videos or my segments very short. So if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my new YouTube channel. I got some more segments lined up, so please subscribe, and thank you very much. And once again, welcome to my new YouTube channel, The GQ Driver, and also my website, thegqdriver.com.